At some point in our lives, we all fell behind, and when we look for comfort, all we hear is, "You are exactly where you're meant to be." I can list dozens of these sentences people told me to cheer me up, and every time the only thing that comes to my mind is,
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Everybody loves the bullshit.
but what does it really mean? You are where you have to be. For a long time, I felt behind, and that feeling stayed with me until it didn't. But before that shift happened, I had to escape 2 traps, and it was not that easy. We all have this bad habit of comparing ourselves to others every single day. A partner with more success, a coworker who seems ahead, or even the coffee someone else chose. Suddenly it feels better than ours. You see friends announcing engagements, promotions, new homes, milestones you've thought about yourself, and it hits you. You scroll searching for someone who's just like you, that you are not alone. But it seems like everyone knows how to do it. Although you are happy for them, you can stop this emotion, a mix of jealousy and this quiet feeling that you missed a turn somewhere. You tried to justify within yourself saying you're working on things, but there's a panic ticking away, asking the same question over and over again. What about me? And this feeling gets worse when you are with your family, asking you, "So, what are you doing these days? When are you going to settle?" You don't have an answer and assume that no matter what you will say, it won't sound impressive enough just because you are still trying to figure it out. And the most painful part is when you could almost make it, when it was at the tips of your fingers and everything fell apart. It feels like a failure, especially when others could make it, those who don't hold on, and almost. And that hurts, making you question your whole self. And this trap starts with, by this age, I will have this and this. But when the plan doesn't match the timeline, the mind doesn't respond with curiosity. It responds by judging you. No matter how rational you can be, the more behind you feel, the harder it becomes to move forward. We end up in a wheel of constant comparing, all these emotions that make it hard to find any motivation every day. Like punishing ourselves will make us take a better decision. We dismissed every small achievement and only focused on what we couldn't. We set up our success with social metrics, bank account, social likes, credit score, body count. We don't measure progress, we measure distance. And this is why you feel stuck between still trying to understand yourself and what life should look like. In psychology, it is called temporal self-discrepancy. The person you are today feels painfully out of sync with the person you thought you would be by now. And every day, this gap increases due to family expectations, milestones, and unspoken dreams. I lived with the constant pressure of this social clock that rings every time I look around. So I decided to look closely at why it determines my worth. I ask myself, if they gave me the recipe, would I still be able to do it? And the most important question, do I really want it? We see a picture perfect of everything, but the reality is completely different. I was trapped in my head from scenarios that were not mine, a fear of having a meaningless life. And the irony is, I found people wishing to have my life, telling me, "You have time for yourself to do whatever you want." Yes, I have time, but can time fix everything, or was it just another trap? So I try to race the time. Spoiler, I failed. Throughout life, certain turning points quietly announce change, aging, retirement, menopause, and death. And no matter what you try, anti-aging creams, diets, or hacks, time moves with or without you. So we rush decisions, relationships, career change, and sometimes we stay in places that don't really serve us, not because they are right, but because leaving feels like losing even more time. Time has a strange effect on the mind. The more aware we become of it, the more pressure we put on ourselves to figure everything out quickly, as if every pause meant we were falling behind. Most of us are just trying to survive while the clock keeps ticking in the background, like our value has an expiration date. The problem is not time. The problem is that we measure our worth by speed. Somewhere along the way, we learned that moving fast means doing well. So the moment life slows down, it starts to feel like failure. But time has never worked that way. If you stare at a pot waiting for the water to boil, every second feels endless. Yet the moment you shift your attention elsewhere, time moves quietly, and suddenly the water is ready. Life often works the same way. There are long stretches where nothing spectacular seems to happen, just quiet days repeating themselves. And during those moments, we start to believe we are falling behind. But if someone made a movie of your life, the audience would understand something you cannot see from inside the scene. Those quiet moments are not empty. We judged our lives by how entertaining they look, instead of how real they feel, as if a life only matters when something remarkable is happening, as if ordinary days are somehow less valuable. So we start craving moments big enough to prove that our story is moving forward, like flipping to the last page of a book, just to know how the story ends. But life is not meant to be lived like this. The essence of any story lies in the transformation of the character. We get attached to a character because we see them growing, falling, and coming back again. We identify with their struggles, not with their success. People who fall behind are often more reflective, thinking about how to make the best of the path. They avoid building a life they will later have to escape from. As most lives aren't built on dramatic scenes, they're built on ordinary days that slowly shape who you become. Reflection rarely looks impressive from the outside. There is no celebration for choosing patience, no applause for letting go of dreams that were never truly yours, no place for hurt to be valued. So from the outside, it may look like nothing is happening, but from the inside, something important is unfolding, a slow reconstruction. It took me a long time to understand this. I spent so much time chasing meaning that I trapped myself with fixed images of what life should look like. It was the fear that everyone else understood the timeline of life better than I did. But fear is rarely reality. It is just a story written by the most anxious part of our mind. For a long time, I measured my worth by choices that didn't work out, where every wrong decision meant I failed. What I didn't see then was what those years were quietly doing to me, and that can be measured. I was changing, growing in ways that were invisible at the time. I was never patient. I wanted life to move fast in the timeline I chose, but you can't control the time. So I learned how to build patience when things come slower than expected. With every rejection, I discovered resilience and how to move on. With every failed relationship, I learned more about my worth, what kind of connection feels like home, and what never will. I found a teacher, quietly shaping how I understand myself and the life I am meant to live. I especially changed the way I speak to myself, with compassion and understanding, the same way I will give to a friend who needs support. I own it to myself, not only to others. Life can be chaotic, and it's hard to see through it, especially when all you can see is yourself drowning. And if the voice inside your own head is judging you every step of the way, there will never be any place, inside or out, where you can truly accept your changes. This season of falling behind is a shedding season. It's where you let go of comparison that kept you small, of timelines that were never yours, of the fear of failing before you even tried. You shed the version of yourself that needed to be like everyone else. This season will break you, force you to confront who you are without hiding behind achievements, without titles or applause. This season asks you to meet the rawest version of yourself. That's why it hurts. Because shedding always does. Your life may not be a blockbuster, with most days quietly repeating themselves. It might be a simple story about someone trying to live a life that rarely makes complete sense, yet you show up anyway, even when it feels pointless. Sometimes the feeling of being behind still finds its way back to me, and when it does, I remind myself, I've faced moments I once thought would break me, and along the way, I discovered parts of myself I never knew existed. So I am just on my way to meet another version of myself. Maybe you feel behind too, like potential that was never explored, a life that almost happened and lost hope in making it. But every time you keep going when it hurts, every time you start again when you can't anymore, you are still here, still growing, uncertain, clumsy, with no climax yet, but still staying in your own story. So even if you are in your shedding season, just stay in it. Try anyway. Build a character that you enjoy watching grow despite everything. As long as you are showing up, your story is far from over. You are where you have to be.